A very good morning. Today, we would like to present on our report, which is based on the impact of tacit knowledge management on organizational performance. So, before we start, I would like to introduce my group members. First will be Iqmal Hakim, Muhammad Haziq, Adam Shakir, myself Ravin Munyadi, and Sheikh Muhammad Nakidin. Hello, my name is Ravin Munyadi, and I would talk about the background of the study. The purpose of this study is to figure out the impact of tacit knowledge management on organizational in Malaysia. Tacit knowledge is expected to impact firm performance directly or through product innovation. Knowledge management implementation has a positive impact on organizational performance through the partial mediating effect of innovation. Tacit knowledge sharing is considered a form of intellectual capital that is preceded by the formation of trust. Competition can lead to challenges that directly impact tacit knowledge sharing, such as mistrust, different learning style, and inaccurate of information. Business should reduce uncertainties related to competition through the sharing of tacit knowledge. Innovation management has become important in organizations so that organizations are able to create an innovative product and services by using the knowledge acquired. So now we will look into a problem statement where tacit knowledge is difficult to record, explain, therefore it is best to be passed down through an apprentice model or a mentor. Tacit knowledge is also unstructured, subjective, and it reflects uh, other people's experience, perspective, perceptions, belief, and decisions. Tacit knowledge can be transferred to socialization and internalization. Unlike explicit knowledge, it can be transferred by written down information and instruction through, for example, emails and documents, or a side note. Knowledge information could be the greatest drawback of tacit knowledge. If the knowledge is not transformed, it will remain in the tacit level. It takes some experience and a skilled person to interpret this kind of knowledge or information. One of the most significant drawbacks is that once tacit knowledge has been lost, it can revert to tacit, causing significant harm to the organization due to the impossible nature to find tacit information in the form of a text. Thank you.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Syed Muhammad Akidin. I will continue for our group on research objective and research question. Our first research question is what are the impacts of tacit knowledge on an organization performance in Malaysia? The research objective for this question is to investigate the impacts of tacit knowledge in organization performance. Our second research question is what is the relationship between product innovation and organizational performance. This question is to investigate the relationship between product innovation and organizational performance. Our last research question is what is the relationship between employee job performance and organizational performance. This question is to identify the relationship between employee job performance and organizational performance. So I will continue to explain about our literature review. Our dependent variable is organizational performance. Organizational performance involves evaluating a company's performance against its objective and goals. In other words, organizational performance comprises real results or outputs compared with intended outputs. Our first IV is tacit knowledge. Tacit knowledge requires information that is difficult to express, formalize, or share. It stands in contrast to explicit knowledge, which is conscious and can be able to explain it in words. Developing tacit knowledge requires having significant experience in an activity while gaining knowledge from working with experts and professionals. Our second IV is production innovation. Production innovation is an innovation that is more visible for the users, and it is related either to the development of an older products, either to the development of new products which are based on the current technologies, or which resolve new needs of a customer. Our last IV is employees' job performance. Employees' job performance is the result of work in an organization at a particular time, which reflects how well the employee reached the qualification of a job in a mission of organization's goal achievement.
Hello and a good day. My name is Adam Shakir, and now I will talk about our development of the research framework of this study. The theoretical framework or the research model is a conceptual model on the theory or the logical sense of relationships among several factors that have been identified as pertinent of this study. This figure shows the conceptual framework of tacit knowledge on organization's performance. The relationship between independent variable, which is tacit knowledge, refers to the knowledge, skills, and abilities an individual gains through experience that is often difficult to put into words or otherwise communicate. The second is product innovation, which is the development and market introduction of a new, redesigned, or substantially improved good or service. And last but not least is employees' job performance, which is how an employee fulfills their job duties and executes the required tasks. It refers to the effectiveness, quality, and efficiency of the output. These three independent variables will be related to the dependent variable, which is organization's performance, uh, which refers to the actual output or results of an organization as measured against its intended outputs. For example, goals and objectives.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Hazim Ibrahim bin Muhammad Ismail. I will continue the presentation for the hypothesis. There have three hypotheses, which is the first, there is a strong relationship between a tacit knowledge and organizational performance. The second, there is a strong relationship between product innovation and organizational performance. And lastly, there is the strong connection between employees' job performance and organizational performance. Okay, next, research design. First, this research uses the descriptive design. This design describes relationship between variables and helps us to recognize the characteristic of a group in each state. This research is to cover a study of tacit knowledge management of organizational performance. Lastly, descriptive analysis involves a process of altering a group of raw data into tables, chart with frequency distribution and percentage. Okay, lastly, quantitative method. Quantitative method addressing the research objective through a realistic assessment in the included manner of analysis and numerical measurement using questionnaire to approach and organize survey. Quantitative methods are those research approaches that depend on the collection and analysis of numerical data to identify or define the relationship between independent variables and dependent variables which is related to the field of research. That's all from me. My name is Muhammad Azim Ibrahim bin Muhammad Ismail.
Thank you, Hazi, for hypothesis and research design. And now, I will talk about our data collecting methods in this study. Data collection is the most significant aspect in this research because it assists in determining the study's results. The data collecting methods in the study are classified into two categories, which is primary data and secondary data. Therefore, both data will be tested using statistical software such as SPSS to do descriptive analysis. However, to properly conduct this research, it is critical to offer good data collection techniques to ensure the accuracy and efficiency in this research by collecting the data in a short period of time. Nevertheless, the most crucial information comes from the questionnaire is the respondents' answers. The first data is primary data, where the primary data will be collected from respondents, which is employees around Malaysia using Google Forms. The questionnaire form will be spread the links throughout social media, and all of the data will be collected within 2 weeks. In the questionnaire form, the data will be kept private and confidential and will be utilized as a primary measure to study and research the relationship between the dependent variable, which is the organization performance, and the independent variable, which is tacit knowledge, production innovation, and employees' job performance. The second data is secondary data. Secondary data is the information that has been gathered and made available from sources other than primary data. Secondary data sources used in this study included electronic databases as well as internet websites such as Google Scholars from reputable sources in order to acquire information related to our research. By using the secondary data, it can show the relationship that has been studied and proven in the past between the impact of tacit knowledge management on organizational performance. Secondary data is critical for most business research since it relates to information gathered by any individual or agency and made available to the researcher. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Ravid Munendi, and now I'll be talking about the summary of Cronbach's alpha for each variable. Cronbach's alpha gave us a simple way to measure the whether or not a score is reliable. It is used to under the assumption of that you have multiple items measuring the same underlying construct. So for the DV organizational performance, the score for Cronbach alpha is 0.767 with a 3 number of items. For the next one is the first IV, tacit knowledge. The score is 0.876 with a 6 number of items. For the second independent variable, product innovation, the score is 0.862 with 5 number of items. And the last one is employees job performance with a score of 0.924 with 5 number of items also. So the general rule of thumb is that a Cronbach's alpha of 0.70 is and above is good, 0.80 and above is better, and 0.90 and above is the best. So thank you.
Hi, my name is Ikmal Hakim bin Zahari. So today I will explain my part, which is finding. So finding have two categorical data, which is ANOVA and correlation. This type of data used for to know the data is a significant between dependent variable and independent variable. So first I will explain the ANOVA data. The one-way ANOVA was conducted to compare the significant difference between the level of organizational behavior dependent variable. The results show that F statistic is 0.001 and the significant value P 0.980. The P value is higher than the significant level, which is 0.005, and this means the hypothesis is accepted and the means all are equal to the group. This is no significant between the level of education on organization performance. What can I explain is the dependent variable does no significant on the what level of the independent variable, which level on education or level employees job performance or the level of tacit knowledge, but they are as a relationship between the dependent variable. Alright, Next, I will explain about the correlation data. So the correlation data is to analyze and determine the relationship between independent variable and dependent variable. This is to know the relationship between the hypothesis, whether it is significant or not from the framework that we are doing. So okay, from the data and the research study I get is the first hypothesis is there has a relationship between tacit knowledge on organizational performance, and the second hypothesis is there has a relationship between product innovation on organizational performance, and the last hypothesis, which is third hypothesis, there has a relationship between employee job performance on organizational performance. This is mean what I can say is from the data we know there have a link or there is a relationship between the dependent variable, which is organizational performance. Alright, so the last part is the conclusion. So the conclusion is all about the research study and the data what I have done and what I have get from the topic what I have choose. So the conclusion is to determine and to analyze whether there is a strong relationship between the independent variable and dependent variable, which is the independent variable is tacit knowledge, product innovation, employee performance, and meanwhile the dependent variable is a organizational performance. So that means there is a significant and the relationship between all the independent variable and the dependent variable from the one-way ANOVA and the correlation of the data. So this research finding confirm the importance of knowledge creation and management, especially those of tacit knowledge to both academic and practitioner. This is particularly important for those from any top management and of any organization who are seeking to prosper and enhance their organizational performance for a better business function, operation, and return on investment.